Puppy Adventures, Tale 4. This is part 1 of a 3-part series. It's called Freckles Goes to the Vet. Copyright 2012 by Debbie Dunn. Who recalls the names of the 4 dogs that lived in the house behind Aunt Debbie's log cabin? Pause the video. The grown-up dog was called Big Dog, although his real name was Puppy. The puppies were named Freckles, Little Bit, and Ears. What else do you recall about Big Dog and Freckles and Little Bit and Ears? Pause the video. Accept reasonable answers. Poor Freckles. Poor Freckles. What happened? Here's a clue. What are you supposed to do when you need to cross a road? Pause the video. Answer. You are supposed to look both ways to see if a car is coming. What are you supposed to do when a car is pulling out of a driveway or pulling into a driveway? Pause the video. Answer. You are supposed to get a safe distance from the car so you do not get hit or run over. How old were you when you first learned you needed to watch out for cars? Pause the video. Answer. Accept reasonable answers. You were probably 3 or 4 or 5 years old when you learned that safety rule about cars. The problem was, Freckles wasn't 5 years old. Freckles wasn't 4 years old. Freckles wasn't 3 years old. Freckles wasn't 2 years old. Freckles wasn't even 1 year old. How old was Freckles? Freckles was only about 10 weeks old. Plus, Freckles was a small, long-legged puppy. It's rather complicated to teach a puppy the importance of watching out for cars. One sad day, one of the owners was backing his car out of the driveway. Freckles had watched Big Dog a whole lot. Big Dog had a very dangerous game that he liked to play. He liked to try to bite at one of the car tires as it was moving. Was that a smart thing for a dog to do? No, absolutely not. Freckles decided that looked like fun. So suddenly Freckles ran up to that moving car. Sadly, he got one of his back legs run over by that tire. He screamed a doggy cry of pain. The owners wondered if Freckles' leg might be broken. Unfortunately, the owners did not have enough money to take Freckles to the vet. So, Freckles had to quickly learn how to walk on 3 legs. The next day, Uncle Randy was working on his computer. Suddenly, he heard a blood-curdling doggy scream coming from the direction of his back deck. Quickly, he jumped up from his computer chair and ran outside. He saw Freckles crying big doggy tears as he screamed and moaned in pain. Freckles had crawled underneath the deck to take a nap. When he woke up, he tried to crawl back out. Unfortunately, he bumped that hurt leg against a board. Poor Freckles! Poor Freckles! Uncle Randy did his best to make that little puppy feel better. "It's okay, boy. It'll be okay." When Aunt Debbie came home from her day trip to Knoxville, Tennessee, she saw Freckles limping. She ran inside and asked, "What happened to Freckles?" Uncle Randy told Aunt Debbie the story of what happened. Then he said, "I think he was hit by a car." Uncle Randy was right. Before the owners left on their trip, they explained about Freckles getting run over by a car. Poor Freckles! Poor, poor Freckles! Day by day, Aunt Debbie and Uncle Randy winced when they heard Freckles cry out in pain when Ears or Little Bit accidentally bumped against his hurt leg. They watched him continue to limp. Finally, Aunt Debbie and Uncle Randy couldn't bear to see Freckles suffer any longer. They decided to take him to the vet. Aunt Debbie called the animal doctor and made an appointment. They agreed to take Freckles later that morning. When the time came, Uncle Randy climbed into the front passenger seat. Aunt Debbie put a blanket in his lap in case Freckles accidentally peed from nervousness. Very carefully, she lifted Freckles into Uncle Randy's arms so she did not bump Freckles' hurt back leg. Little Bit and Ears looked on anxiously. They nervously watched Aunt Debbie get into the car. They even started to follow the car out of the driveway. It was clear they were thinking, "Where are you taking our brother?" Aunt Debbie rolled down the window and told them, "Go back, Little Bit. Go back, Ears. Stay. Go back." The little black boy puppy and the little brown girl puppy moved back. Then they anxiously watched Aunt Debbie drive her navy blue car away. Aunt Debbie then turned to Freckles and said, "Don't worry, Freckles. We are going to bring you back home. It's going to be okay, baby. I promise we will bring you back home." Uncle Randy said, "I sure hope Little Bit and Ears don't attempt to look for their brother by going into the road." Aunt Debbie said, "I hope not either." Freckles whimpered a bit as he nestled into Uncle Randy's arms. You could imagine he might be thinking, "A bunch of my brothers and sisters and cousins have disappeared. Are they going to take me away and abandon me as well? Will I ever see my home again?" Poor Freckles! Poor, poor Freckles! To be continued. Puppy Adventures Tale 4 Part 2 of 3 is on the next video. Go and visit it and check it out, of Part 2 of Freckles Goes to the Vet.